Hey guys, it's Avenger, welcome back to the channel. And where do I start with this garden shed? No, your eyes do not deceive you. It is not a small caravan that has sprouted wings. Someone did not take a bus and attach wings to it to use it as a ground-based display feature. No, this is the Shorts 330. And this is part of Blackbox Simulations Shorts Regional Premium Edition. Now this comes with a number of models. I'm going to show you all of these now because it's quite a lot. We have 39 plus liveries in this aircraft. We have 9 versions of the aircraft. Cargo, passenger, 330, the 360, which is the larger sized and single-tailed version. We have the cargo version with the Sherpa. We have the military version of the Sherpa, the C-23A and later B. If there's a Shorts regional model you want to fly, you probably have it here. Now this pack costs $50 from Blackbox, and it comes with a full manual and tutorial in the aircraft. And you'll want that tutorial, because this thing is a little complicated because it's British and therefore nothing makes direct sense. Now, this aircraft of course was produced by the Short brothers, who of course made numerous famous aircraft during World War II. It seats up to 30 people, with about 39 in the 360. As expensive, low maintenance cost aircraft, introduced in 1976, and it was based on their Skyvan, which had been very popular. Now, production ended in 92 after 141 were built, and the 360 was built from that, and I believe there were maybe 165 of these built as well. So, what we're going to do is we're going to look at this one in detail, the 330, and then I will spawn in and show you the 360 and the Sherpa, just so you can see the features of those as well. The flight mechanics are equally shed-like amongst all of them, which I will tell you now is incredibly accurate. Now, sounds are actually reasonable in this. The behavior is very reasonable. It flies like a literal brick. And I will say it has a lot of features. The manual included is chock full of data and information. There is so much in there. Every system functions. It is crazy detailed. What it does lack in some detail inside, I will say that ahead of time. It's not as pretty as it could be inside. It's more than sufficient, but it's not as pretty as it could be. But oh my gosh, does everything work. So of course we have custom coded Collins flight directors and autopilot systems, which is specific to this type of aircraft. Garmin AS400 GPS. We have full Navcom radios, which are the older style. We have also got all existing blueprints from the time we used to build this thing. So it's a spec for how the thing works. So let's take a look inside, shall we? Now the actual aircraft, by the way, as I mean to do this before every time I do one of these, in terms of performance specs, she can cruise at a whopping 190 knots, which is surprisingly 160, get to up to 190. She'll stall at 73 knots. Which is powered by a pair of Pratt & Whitney PT6A turboprops. So, here is the cockpit. And like I said, it is not phenomenal, but it is sufficient. Say hi to Captain Whiskers. It's a little bit light on polys in the cockpit. The model is a little bit older by the looks of things. I would have preferred to see a bit more detail. And the texture is a little bit flat at times. I don't like saying that because I know the developer puts a huge amount of work into it. And the level of detail in every surface of this aircraft is right there, down into the actual mechanics. Like, it is really detailed. So, being that this is an aircraft I probably will fly a fair amount, being that I like weird stuff, especially in the bush, I can put up with it. It's more than enough for me. Let's go exterior and take a look around it, shall we? So, in the back here we have the cargo area, which is in this one, just that area in the 330. Full-size ramp in the other models. Now, the exterior-wise, I'm actually really impressed with. The exterior, I think, is more than enough. For an aircraft this size, the detailing is reasonable, actually. It's not the highest poly thing, but it's more than reasonable. And liveries are sharp and well put together. Not seeing any major fussing or problems with them. Maybe a little bit of a line there, but that's a hard zone to do. Resolution on liveries is pretty high, and there's plenty of room to make interesting textures, and no weird warping around map edges. That's important. Normal mapping is good. Detail exterior-wise is decent, actually. Let's go take a look inside, shall we? Now, the cabin was actually designed by Boeing engineers to resemble the cabin of bigger aircraft. And it does feel like a bigger airliner inside here. You've got the single aisle with a row of single on the side and then a row of 2 there. I love those lavatory signs. I don't even know where the lavatory is. Is there a lavatory back here? There is. And it exists! Okay, I'm happy. They included the toilet. That's important to me. Not everybody else thinks it's important, but I think it's important. I can't go into the toilet, which is disappointing, but we'll cope. So, looking at the cockpit from the outside. Captain Whiskers, of course, is importantly down there in the passenger seat. Got a forward cargo area there. And emergency doors on the sides. We'll look at those later. Now, the door control on this is something I quite like on this aircraft. We'll go back inside here. And we put the batteries on first. Batteries are up here. There we go. Batteries are on. Let's get our boost pumps on for engine start. We'll put both on, but we'll start one at a time. Starter master to arm. Ignition on. And here are our doors. So forward baggage, we can close it. Cargo we can open. And that's the whole cargo door on the side there we can open. So the cargo variant, this is just a forward cargo loading door, which is very useful. Or if you want to throw out 2 rows of passengers, very useful. Close those passenger doors there, move the stairs. Let's open the emergency doors. Emergency doors being the small hatches there, there, and there. Easily done. Let's give it fuel, by the way, for the starting up. Cool. Engine 1 is starting. Let's start engine 2. 2 is coming online. So we have so many features. This thing is crazy. Every breaker actually functions. The steering tiller down there is actually movable. All of our various controls for the audio panels function down there. Our GPS system will function. We haven't got the battery on right now. You will notice I can't move my controls. Gust locks. Now we can. Okay, engine's coming online. Good. Let's give fuel to engine number 2. And that should come online for us as well. And then we're about to put our generators on up here, which our generator linkage is there. Gen 2 we aren't putting on yet because it's not come up yet. Gen 2 is up. Okay, wonderful. So let's get that on there. Now I've got our fire extinguishers over here, which work. Let's not press those. Now we have bleed air systems up here. We have our AC power supply. We have our inverters, so we can actually set those inverters to where they need to be. All these systems actually function. The electrical bus systems are all there and operational. There goes the engines powering up properly. There is every nuance of a system, and the manual is extensive. Incredibly extensive. Incredibly. Page after page of data and information here. What do you do? Fuel cross-feed systems. We've got shutters there. Can we open the roof hatch? We can't. Oh, it's disappointing. I'll pretend it's a major disaster to me. Let's turn off the boost pumps there now. We are good with our fuel systems. So let's take this beast for a flight, shall we? Because she is a pig. And this pig deserves wings. Now, of course, we do have the windows. It does get louder. So there is that. Right, head switched on. Right. Parking brake is off. Okay, let's get ourselves turned around here. I will say she's got 180 degrees of visibility, which is quite useful. You will never lose track of something behind a pillar in this. It's like flying a greenhouse attached to a garden shed. There's someone weighted down with lead. So flaps for takeoff, we're going to go to 15 degrees on that. Fuel condition is set to full. Props will go to full fire on the runway. Surprisingly, it has got very good visibility in all the angles you really need it. So visibility is fantastic, just apart from on the nose, which will become apparent when we actually go for our landing. Right, those are to full. Let's go to full power here. Now the autopilot in this aircraft is exactly as the real one has. And I haven't turned my avionics on yet because I'm an idiot, apparently. There we go. I forgot to turn my avionics on because I was too busy focusing on everything else. Let's keep this thing controlled just a little bit excitable at times. Speed's good. We'll get a lift off. Nose forward. Let's not go too excited. And we'll go exterior here because the gear is... Oh, my emergency doors are still open because that's just what Avangel does, isn't it? Well, they wanted more breeze. They got more breeze. Can we close these? Are they allowed to be closed? I don't think they'll close. Well, we're going to have to make an emergency landing because our emergency doors will not close. That feels appropriate for a quick turnaround. But as I go outside for the actual purpose of this, you'll notice our gear's up. So let's extend that and show you the gear functionality. It nestles away in those pods, so it does actually retract its gear, just not particularly much. They fold up there into the interior. Nose wheel goes completely away. The mains will stick out a little bit from those side pods. She's a real brick, isn't she? God. I kind of love this aircraft in its own weird, wonderful way. It is a beautiful, beautiful garden shed. The cockpit's a little on the low poly side. The textures aren't phenomenal. They're on brand with what we get from Blackbox. I don't think it's bad. To me, it's fine. Not every aircraft needs to be the absolute most stunning, beautiful thing in the universe. Now, we have 9 versions of this aircraft. Any version of the shorts regionals you want to fly kind of exists. And there are so many liveries. Like, a crazy amount. So honestly, with the system's depth in this aircraft, I think it is still a fair price. Am I going to fly the 360s as much as the Sherpas? No. But, at the same time, everything works. And that's a big thing to me. Having an aircraft that's skin deep is boring. Having an aircraft with all functionality and systems is interesting, it's exciting, it's enjoyable. Would I have preferred some more kind of prettiness? Maybe. But I'm not hugely concerned. Because it's enough. To me, that's enough. There's a threshold before which something is just not good enough, and a threshold where it is. And I will clarify, as a reviewer, it's very hard to be rude, per se, when you are sent an aircraft by a developer. In this case, I was sent this by the developer. So, when I criticize the texture or the modelling in the interior, I'm trying to be as objective as possible with that. I personally do think it's enough for me. I like both really pretty and skin deep, and really pretty and extensive, and really extensive and enough in equal measure, really, because there are places for all of them. Oh, we need to go a bit further out before we turn around here, because this thing will not turn around and lose enough speed in time to get landed. And that's my gear horn there, so we'll let our speed bleed down here as we get ready to turn around, and we'll start the turn. And you can get a little bit twisty with the twin rudders there. The flight model is very unique, I will say. Nothing in the sim flies like this. It is very, very unique this way. And that visibility is fantastic. Look at this. Look how much you can see. It looks really narrow at the front, but there's a ton of visibility. Gear coming down. Shut up, the gear's in transition. Come down. Okay. Now this is the 330, of course. The other models are obviously different in exterior and function, but the largest difference you'll find is often in the cockpit. There's nuances in how things are set up. Flaps to 15. Okay. And flaps to 30. A little bit of power here, because she needs a little bit to encourage her towards the runway. Because these 30-degree flaps can become a bit of a brick. Let's level up there. Try and slide sideways a little bit just to level us on the track here. Okay, power's back. We're idle. I'm going to hold the nose here. Now you'll notice it gets a little bit narrow. And the visibility is decent enough off the nose, but it can be a bit of a narrow kind of aim point to go for with that very low front panel. And I do feel like I'm coming in fast, but I'm not. 73 is our stall speed. We're good right now. A little bit of power, just to kind of encourage her along here. A little bit off center, so I'm going to slide it right. We're holding left. We're coming down good. Idle power. Touchdown. Okay, and we're in reverse now. Oh boy, she gets loud. Because it's reverse. Okay, that's a bit weird. Yeah, the reverse sounds appear to just snap on and off in the audio. So not a transition to those sounds kind of fading in. It just kind of snaps on. So that's interesting. I'm not a huge fan of that. And it is really easy to taxi, because look at this. The visibility we have here is great. Pull these props back here. Let's reduce our speed. So she lands relatively short. It is a stall aircraft, so it can be used in the bush. Which with the Sherpa models is a great idea, because you've got a big cargo ramp. Very useful. So a lot of functionality, a lot of features, and a lot of abilities to do things. The sim ability factor is very high. I honestly, I would take this over Coronado's one. Because Coronado made a 330 and a 360. And theirs, of course, was pretty. Now, the real aircraft, by the way, is butt ugly. I want to make this point here. The real aircraft is freaking ugly. Like, even the cockpit of the real aircraft is disgusting. Like, it's a garden shed with an attached greenhouse. The real aircraft is not pretty. It is not a gorgeous aircraft. Let's go take a look at the 360. So welcome to the cockpit of the 360. Largely the same, as you can see. Because realistically, it is largely the same. And as you can tell from the seats, we're in the Air Fungus model. Oh, yes we are. Haha. Nuances and differences. We need to put the battery on, of course, just to get our systems as the generator coupling. We don't need that. We need batteries on. And we can open our doors. So going outside, here is the 360. Now, no rear there. You'll notice our cargo is back here instead. So cargo area. Air Fungus! Yay! Then we have our passenger cabin here, which being slightly bigger, it just makes it longer, realistically. Look at all that room. That'd be a great way to get out of the plane, wouldn't it? Let's hop out there. Wonderful. Nose baggage as well. But the 360, of course, basically stretched, bigger, the smoother tail, single tail plane. Now, these actually were relatively, useful. They were good, reliable aircraft. People enjoyed them. They were found to be very reliable, very comfortable. Not as fast or couldn't fly as high as pressurized cousins, but they were well regarded. They did their jobs, and there's still about 35, 40 of them flying today. So they still do their work, considering the even newest is at least 30 years old. Actually, that's not very old for an airplane. But yes, basically bigger, longer, same cockpit feel. Let's take a look at the Sherpa. That's the fun one. Okay, so here we are in the cockpit of course, the 330 Sherpa. So, kind of the same thing, but kind of not. So, batteries on. And I'll get to whiskers. Now, let's open what we've got here. Now, of course, we have our cargo ramp, which is important because we have the ability to go level for airdrop and other functionality, of course. And you'll notice those door inlets there. Power doors, like folding doors for paratroop dropping. And we can go down all the way to the ground with the tail ramp. So let's take a proper look outside. Now, this is the Raven Connect one. This is the one that Raven, aka Air Alaska, as it was formerly known, has. Don't think they still have it. I think they might still have it. But they operated this one, and it often would take stuff out to mines and to other facilities out there in Alaska doing really remote cargo work. And it was a very useful aircraft because obviously having a full-size tail ramp is a really useful feature of an aircraft. Look at all this space in here you can put stuff into. Very, very useful. And those doors there, yeah, they hinge open. That is how the rear interior doors open. Which is quite a unique design there, but it does leave you with a fully open door with a bit of a windshield there to the inside. making for good parachute dropping for the military version because, of course, the Sherpa was the C-23A and B in the US military service in a few other countries. Had a reinforced floor, of course, the full-size tail ramp and other little bits of nuances, but largely was almost the same as a civilian model. Now, interior is the same. It's just an open interior here with the cargo floor and the same doors at the front. Everything else otherwise is identical up here in the cockpit. We can close the cargo door there and see the front door more in its normal way. Let's close forward baggage, and we'll close the power doors. Pull out of my back there, which is nice and simple. Flies exactly the same as the other models. They all fly very similarly, apart from slight nuances and differences. But honestly, I think it's easy for people to turn around and say, oh, well, you were given this by the developer, you're going to be nicer than you should be. I think sometimes we're a little bit too critical of the wrong things. Sometimes when an aircraft deserves it, the visuals are a hugely important factor. Like, if this was a complete turd, I'd say so. To me, it's good enough. Given everything you get with this, and it's a huge volume of stuff, from the system's depth to the variety of models, 9 different versions, any version of this you would want to fly, you could find. The flight handling is good. I like the flight dynamics. The instruments work well. The flight modelling is good. One thing I'm going to do quickly whilst we're in here is turn on the lights, because I forgot to actually do that at any point during this. So, where are the lights? Panel lights here. Let's make it a bit darker, shall we? How does one make it darker? The one thing I can't find a way to do is to turn off the... move the sticks. That's one thing I can't get rid of. I don't know how to do that one. Oh, no, there we go. Lights are on. There we go. A little darker? They don't seem to be getting much brighter. I mean, they're brighter-ish, but they're not going to get in there. That's down. That's up. Okay. And we do have some on here. Avionics is, of course, off. There we go. You actually see more when they're on. But these don't seem to be doing much. Oh. Did I click it? The lights are being complicated, but we don't mind. The lights do light, though. I just don't know where the rest of them are. I'm kind of thick when it comes to that kind of thing. Which is not something anyone wants to say about themselves, but... I look at all the things like the systems and work out how to start the aircraft and then forget little nuances like the lights. Which is just embarrassing. But still, my point is... This is this complicated that I would need to go back and check the manual to find these exact things. I have to go and read the manual, learn the individual functions, because they matter. And they're relevant to how this one operates. Is it the prettiest cockpit? No. Is the exterior actually fine? Yeah, the exterior is fine. The exterior is decent. I'm happy with the exterior. It's really good. And it's very accurate. The flight handling is good. The sounds are decent apart from that step in the audio for the reverse. But the cockpit is a bit of a letdown. But overall, it makes a pass because it's got so much depth to the function. Everything works. If it looked gorgeous and nothing worked, I'd probably be more disappointed. Make your own decision. I personally think it's a good one if you like weird and wonderful or you want something good for the bush. Thanks for watching. Bye.